All right, here Comey testifies on Capitol Hill, and this is Tom Fitton. He just says it like it is.
Here to tell us about that and to assess the Mueller memos we were just talking about. But first to Comey, Tom, thanks for coming on. What do we learn?
Well, we learned that Comey isn't worried about being prosecuted for any misconduct because he didn't take the fifth.
Comey isn't worried about being prosecuted. I don't know if Trump will ever get over the deep state.
We also learned the FBI and Justice Department are still hampering the investigation by ordering him not to answer many key questions, according to Republicans who've complained.
Ordering him not to question, so the FBI is still hampering it. I don't believe Trump will ever win over the deep state. I could be wrong. I hope to God I am, but it doesn't appear so on the surface. They're too entrenched and they have too much power. I just don't believe it's possible, unfortunately.
About the way it proceeded.
Can I ask you a question? Didn't Comey, am I overstating this, and I want to be fair, but it seemed to me like Comey committed perjury last time he testified because he said that he had never participated in leaking while FBI director, and then Andy McCabe, who would know, later said that he had. Did anyone ask him about that?
Well, I don't know, but I guess it depends on what the meaning of leak is.
I guess it does.
And he took those FBI memos, FBI files of Donald Trump, and leaked them with the specific purpose of getting a special counsel appointed. You know, he ought to be under criminal investigation for taking those records and leaking them, and he's also under investigation about potentially taking classified information. And, you know, if you're under criminal investigation at the federal level and someone asks you questions about it in an official circumstance like this, you often take the fifth.
Are you starting to, meanwhile,
but he didn't.
George Papadopoulos was in prison until a minute ago. Are you getting the impression that the truly powerful really don't face legal consequences? It's always the little guy. It's always Jerome Corsi, some 72-year-old writer for Newsmax, who gets threatened with prison. But Jim Comey, the FBI director, gets to do whatever he wants. That kind of seems like the list.
Well, it's not necessarily powerful, but it's a partisan process because President Trump's powerful, but he's being attacked and abused. But if you're connected to the Democratic establishment, if there's a partisan nature here, which is to get Trump, you're protected. And Mr. Comey is Mueller's witness. He appointed Mueller. He's friends with Mueller. He worked with Mueller. He's friends with Mueller. And now we're seeing what happens if you're a friend of Mueller. You get protected by this Justice Department and this FBI. And if you're not a friend of Mueller, you'll be used and abused in the case of Cohen, who was used to go after Trump in dishonest ways, in my view, by this special counsel. And he's being abused and being thrown under the bus. Oh, yeah, we used his testimony. We were able to insert the word Russia 50 million times as a result of these plea deals that really didn't have anything to do with Russia collusion. But we're going to ask the court to allow him to go to jail for at least 3.5 years.
It's making a lot of us very cynical, and I wish it weren't. Because
what a screwed up mess. Like I said, I don't think Trump will ever get over the deep state. The fact is that these women in white are more like the Ku Klux Klan. They hate life and freedom of birth, and all it opposes wouldn't stand as Trump talked about it. They deserve to be outed. They're a disgrace to the human female motherly nature, which is praised and they disdain. Trump begins and welcomes one and most stand and applaud. One member encourages occasional or Cortez to do so. She appears to reply, why? What? Let's go to the address itself. This guy compares the gals in white to the KKK. probably pretty
Special
accurate.
appearance and stood with his crew at the State of the Union last night. Oh, sorry, wrong slide. Here we go. The white-robed priestesses of the leftist baby slaughtering cult, which is essentially the same as the Democrat creation known as
Leftist slaughtering cult. I would say they're about as white and holy as angels in hell.
the KKK, made a stunningly evil appearance at the State of the Union address last night. And since these psychotic women are for the slaying of infants in the womb, even up to the moment of dilation on the day of delivery, the majority of whom are black babies, the white garments seem rather fitting. Bandwagon rider Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez insists the attire was worn to remember the women of the suffrage movement.
Yeah, right. Let's get in here.
Today, he leads investigations into the scourge of international sex trafficking. Elvin says that if I can make sure these young girls get their justice, I've really done my job. Thanks to his work and that of his incredible colleagues, more than 300 women and girls have been rescued from the horror of this terrible situation. And more than 1,500 sadistic traffickers have been put behind bars.
So, sex and human trafficking, a priority in Trump's administration. He signed executive orders concerning it to take the perpetrators' money and assets away from them if they're caught doing this. A big, big deal. And these idiots don't even stand or applaud. They don't respect human life. They are a disgrace. The feminine gender, the best in the feminine race, female race, they're disgraced. Go! She's got to be told to stand. And these other people still aren't standing. What a bunch of idiots. Let's go on here.
The newly created jobs last year. Don't sit yet. You're going to like this. And exactly 1 century after Congress passed the constitutional amendment giving women the right to vote, we also have more women serving in Congress.
Go beyond that.
That's great. Very great. And congratulations. That's great.
So these white-robed, gun-grabbing, baby-killing, socialist-striving, freedom-snatching women will stand and applaud for jobs for women and congressional seats filled by women, but watch their reaction when Trump condemns New York's late-term abortion bill.
There could be no greater contrast to the beautiful image of a mother holding her infant child than the chilling displays our nation saw in recent days. Lawmakers in New York cheered with delight upon the passage of legislation that would allow a baby to be ripped from the mother's womb moments from birth. These are living, feeling, beautiful babies who will never get the chance to share their love and their dreams with the world. And then we had the case of the governor of Virginia, where he stated he would execute a baby after birth. To defend the dignity of every person, I am asking Congress to pass legislation to prohibit the late-term abortion of children who can feel pain in the mother's womb.
This is pathetic, but it's what's going on, and the battle between good and evil just becomes more and more obvious. Really pathetic. And these other individuals, they might now be pro-life or pro-choice, but there's so much that needs to be cleaned up. It's pathetic.
Chuck Schumer, the sinister old man who, along with Andrew Cuomo, applauded this infanticide bill, literally looks like Penguin from Batman plotting his next crime. Guys, there are people sitting in prison right now who are only there because they simply possess something these politicians commanded that no one should possess. And people like this guy will sanction the murder of unborn babies, and they're allowed to sit there in the smugness of their extravagant lifestyles? Tell me this world isn't screwed up. And as Trump talks about protecting babies who are able to feel pain in the mother's womb, the white-robed sisters of death, who look like they just walked off the movie set of the Logan's Run death cult scene, sit there with prudish faces, unable to applaud the saving of the lives of future women.
Now, this guy here was a Democrat. He got a lot of crap, but I believe he's a blue dog Democrat, pro-life, and these other party members don't like it. So there's deep divisions there, and we're not done with this mess, to say the least. Again, it's Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Subscribe. Let's keep this pressure on, because these women are a disgrace to the dignity of those that love life, love motherhood, and love their children.